You remember cold calling? Cold calling. Cold calling. Right? Do you remember the term smile and dial? Do you remember the saying power hours and shit? Do you remember these things? I do, because I came up in the sales environment before technology, right? And so there are certain terms that still exist today within our realm, like smile and dial. Like you ever hear that from an old veteran on your sales floor? Like, hey, all right, guys, you guys ready to smile and dial? When was the last time you dialed a number? You know, literally most phones now are over VoIP, right? So it's just an internet phone, and it's very rare that you actually dial a number. But nonetheless, there are a select few that still dial a number, that hand dial a number. And that company, those people who still hand dial a number, are probably still the ones holding the handheld receiver with the cord connecting that bitch to the phone. And so I'm not harping on anyone who still uses a corded phone. You know, if you got to use a corded phone, boo boo, you do that. You know, I know you're probably en route to earn enough money to make your headset. And I appreciate the hustle, man. I remember my first headset. It was the little things in life that, you know, you aim for and you strive for, and you may not have been there yet. And what's funny is that when you're there, you don't feel like you're, you know what I mean, like you deserve to be there, like because you're the only one without a headset, or you're the only one who hasn't sold 10 units yet or products yet. You're the only one who maybe, you know what I mean, like you're new. And so this video is going to be for everyone that's new to sales, everyone that's wondering right now, how do you do a cold call, right? And if you're new, or if you have issues doing a cold call, whatever your definition of a cold call is, the bottom line is selling over the phone, then you're going to want to watch this video. So if this is your first time here, my name is Daniel. I'm a sales mentor, sales manager, sales fucking enthusiast. I love hustle. I love the art and science of being creative so that I can convey my message through persuasion, if that makes sense. And I love that. It's like poetry to me. It's like music to me. To say it or make the sound, revise the sound to a different tune, a different way. It's basically the same sound, but it's just so much more enhanced. And when I say sound, I'm talking about, like, you know, wordplay, your tonality, your energy, the sound, the vibration that you set off, right? Because I believe that a lot of people are sound oriented. We're all audio learners, and there's three type of people that understand information in different ways. Those three types are audio, you know, meaning that they have to literally hear it in order to really understand it and grasp it, right? And you know, you'll know that you're dealing with these people because when they call you or when you talk to them, you know, they'll say certain things like, I want to hear more about it, or yeah, let me listen to what you have to say. I'd like to hear what this is about, right? Instead of saying I'd like to see. And these are just subtle clues that people subconsciously make, and they don't realize they're making it. And these are the tips that you really need to be familiar with, because your job is to persuade, right? And so your job is to cold call. And besides audio, right, auditory learners, the crowd that says I want to hear more about this, or I like to, you know, hear what you got to say, those are auditory learners. Damn, I hope that word is right. Man, I'm gonna look like a fool. I didn't go to college. I'm not fancy, you know, I'm not bougie or anything. So if that word isn't correct, English is my first language, okay? So with regards to the second, because there's three of them, the second one is kinesthetic, meaning that they have to touch it, they have to feel, they have to be there in person, right? And so you'll know that who these people are, because they're gonna say, send me your info in the mail, or, you know what, just send it to me. I want to pray about it, or I want to think about it. It needs to be something tangible that they can literally hold in their hand. Like, send me a brochure. It's that person that's kinesthetic. A lot of us are not kinesthetic anymore. That's more kind of an older generation thing, you know, like, send it in the mail. Or send it in an email. I want to print it out and read it. No, you know, it's not necessarily as relevant, but who knows? Your prospects could be retiring soon. Your target market could be that crowd. So if they are that crowd, understand who you're dealing with, and you got to deal with them in a different way. And then lastly, there's another learner. So you got audio, you got kinesthetic, and then you have visual. Visual means that they are mostly in their comfort zone, learning about something new. And that's the whole reason why, you know, consumers will push away, is because they don't understand. Or you know, you ever get the prospect or you get someone on the phone and they just want to do everything and anything except talk to you, meaning that they just want to get off the phone. You will literally tell them, I'm saving your life. Like, you will have a product, I'd be like, hey bro, you're gonna die, and this product saves your life. Like, it's something they literally need, but they're just like, you know what, I'm okay. And you're baffled. You're like, what? I worked so hard to get you here, and why are you taking it? And you want to know why? It's because maybe they're just visual. They need to see it. And so instead of talking to them on the phone with no visual, maybe guide them to the computer, right? And say, okay, I'm gonna email you something, and hopefully you figure out that they're visual before you start going over a pitch, and that way you're better prepared, because you always want to position yourself in the best possible position to close that sale, to succeed, right? And so I think you're doing that right now, because you positioned yourself to follow Sales Remastered. You positioned yourself to hit that red subscribe button at the bottom right hand corner of this video. You positioned yourself to hit the notes, right? To hit that little drop down box and see all the notes, actually read about it. You positioned yourself because you're taking time to learn your craft, and that's why you're going to win. But anyway, going back to the lesson at hand, you know, I learned this because pretty much all my career was done selling over the phone. Now, I've had a fair share of selling business to business, face to face, you know, door to door. Like, I knocked on doors to sell paving stones. I went from business to business to sell executive recruiting. And a lot of the philosophy, a lot of the techniques is that you'll find here. You know, I get inquiries and say, oh, but you know, right now what you do is that's a business to consumer sale. Oh, that's mortgage product, or that's a financial service. I get this message, right? It's like, oh, well, I would go to SalesRemastered.com and download this script, but I do this, or I do this type of sale, or I do this type of sale. When in all reality, that script or this content, it applies to communication in general. Whether you're communicating to a business, a consumer, whether you're communicating to yourself or your employer or your spouse or your children. Does that make sense? Like, I'm fogging up the room. It's like I'm in here like a fucking sauna and shit. But where I'm getting at is there are different type of you know, consumers out there, and what makes it difficult to do I gotta do this right quick. How do I do this, bitch? So, what makes it difficult as far as cold calling goes is that you don't know who you're dealing with, right? It's blind, and that's why it's called cold. It's not warm. Like, a warm transfer is maybe, like, let's say someone who did an inquiry, talked to a customer service, they're warmed up, and now they get sent over to you. Whereas like a cold call, they weren't expecting anything. This shit is cold. It's just, you know, you got to warm it up. So you really got to start from the bottom up. And so to a degree, that still applies today. You know, but I think the challenge is you just don't know who you're dealing with. So I was asked the other day, or actually yesterday, from one of my followers on Instagram, because they saw my post. Check my latest post on Instagram, by the way. If you're on there, you know, click the link under this video, or just go, you know, search Sales Remastered. But my Instagram page is instagram.com/salesremastered. And daily, at least 3 or 4 times a day, I'm dropping motivational content to keep you focused. You know, keep your mindset strong. I put video clips up there just to show kind of a preview of what content's being uploaded here. And so there's a lot of content to be shared, and you might be asking, well, Danny, why are you sharing this information? Why are you giving me all this free data? Is there a plot? Do you have something up your sleeve, you salesman? And I want to let you know that yes, I absolutely do. And what my plan is to share with you the content that I used myself in order to get out of the streets and into a better life. I'm sharing with you the content that got me out of depression, that got me out of feeling sorry for myself, that got me out of feeling like I needed to wait until it was my turn. I felt like I didn't deserve the life that I live. I felt that I didn't deserve to be in the work group that I was in. I didn't deserve to, you know what I mean? Like I just felt these things, and all along it was just excuses. And so I noticed that how I dramatically changed my life. There are certain key components, there are key habits that I incorporated into my daily hustle, into my daily actions. And you will be amazed on how much your life transforms when you do these things. What are these things? Subscribe to Sales Remastered on YouTube. This is not just a one-part video. You have to look at all the content. I've done the best I can because I got close to 200 videos now. So I've done the best that I can to put them on playlists. So if you're scrolling through and you're like, oh, none of this applies to me, they actually do. The topics in itself, don't pay attention to the title. Actually go through the video, listen, hear it out. I'm applying the tips to lessons that I've learned and I've experienced, that I've gone through, and this is how, this is how I've learned, and this is how it's changed my life. And I'm just a normal dude, man. I mean, I don't got nothing special. I don't got no $1 million last name. I don't got a university degree fucking hanging on the wall in my office. As you could tell, I'm being as real as it gets. And if you do have a degree, if you do have a university certificate on your wall in your office, or if you do have $1 million last name, great. This is gonna help you fucking further expand that in that brand, or further expand that success. But anyway, going back onto the topic, because I like to rant. It's just what I do. When it comes to a cold call, and in technology today, in my opinion, there's no really anything such as a cold call. The cold call is because you just don't know anything about the person you're about to talk to. That person doesn't know anything about you. Well, it used to be a cold call because we didn't have certain things that we have today. Certain things that we have today changed our lives dramatically. Now we have a computer in our pocket. Now we have the ability to, instead of drive to a location or drive to a business, we could pull it up online using the computer in our pocket. And then we can search their inventory. We could see where they're at. We no longer have to use postal mail. There's now email. We no longer have to look people up through the white pages. Damn, that's a throwback word right there, because we have internet, right? We no longer have to do cold call because we have certain things like LinkedIn, like Facebook, like certain fucking Google. And these things, we don't know that it will help us avoid a cold call, because these things actually tell us what that prospect is about. It tells us, it gives us a picture of them on their LinkedIn. It gives us their title. It gives us their interests, their hobbies. It gives us their role, the job that they do, right? And so if they're a manager, you know how to come correct to a manager, right? You want to speak to a manager. You want to fucking be too aggressive to a manager, because that manager is the one who's always in authority most of the day. And so when they meet a stranger that they don't know, and this person who is the manager is so used and accustomed to having authority, you try and come and act like you have authority to them, it's going to be like, water and oil. They're used to getting their way, if that makes sense. But that's just a tidbit. Maybe I'll drop some info on there on how to actually use that in your pitch, and how to use words that they're more familiar with, how to pay attention to their employment, their job title, the length of employment, and their income to actually close your sale. And I'll make a content on that. But in this video, again, it's all about cold call, like how if you're beginning and if you're expected to originate business, there's a frown, like a negative stigma attached to cold call, right? Like you might just be given leads or sent to a queue and say, hey, cold call these guys. And because you hear the word cold call, you might go search cold call, or you might hear cold call from a fucking movie like Boiler Room, and you think, fuck, now I got to get like a stockbroker and go under my desk and say, and scam this guy. Is that a cold call? There's this negative annotation to it, right? Or this negative attachment to it. And the problem with that is that when you go into the task thinking that it's a hard task, like it's a grind, or it's impossible, or these people don't want to do business with you. That's your mindset. That's the vibration I'm talking about. That's the energy that I'm talking about. That's the sound that I was talking about at the beginning of this video, is that you're actually emitting the sound to put them in that trance, meaning that through the tonality of your voice, through the sound of your words, through your energy, you are blatantly saying to them, like, oh man, I hope you trust me. I know I'm a stranger to you. Please don't hang up on me. Please say yes. I hope to sell you. Stranger danger. Like, that's how you come off. And it's because you're looking at it in a different way. And so you might say, well, Daniel, how the fuck do I look at it in a different way? And I'm going to tell you. So this is how you look at it in a different way. Number one is you realize the actual the capabilities and the advantages that you have before you, which is that computer in your pocket, that computer on your desk, whatever, and do as much research, because internet really is what it's done, is it's enabled us to study our time, right? Study our prospects, be a little bit more targeted. And why that's so far effective than a cold call is because on a cold call, I wouldn't know if this person's qualified to buy my product. I wouldn't know what this person looks like, and you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I'm not gonna sell some dude who's never owned a suit, who dresses like a construction worker on their fucking LinkedIn profile pic, or who has like just like a straight polo shirt on their LinkedIn polo shirt. I'm not gonna market to that guy a fine tailored suit. I'm not gonna market to that guy a tie. This guy doesn't even wear a fucking tie on his LinkedIn. Does that get it? And I'm not going to talk about certain things because this guy isn't within the demographic. And so now you know that. So, but imagine when you used to have to cold call before that internet was in your pocket. But before you have to cold call, you wouldn't know that this dude, what he looked like, what his interests were, where he worked, what his job title was. So that literally was a cold call. And I went through cold calls. I know exactly what a cold call is. So that's why I'm able to identify why now we no longer have cold calls. And so now if I had the technology today and I just started, my manager said, hey, okay, I want you to cold call these leads. This is what I would do. I would figure out what exactly does my company do in terms of improvement. What solutions do I give? How do I actually help people? And you really have to come to mind with that. You say, well, why would anyone want to buy whatever it is I'm selling today? It could be for various reasons. It could be for health. It could be for well-being. It could be for their family. It could be for investments. There's a reason why people purchase your product. Now, I'm not saying your company, because there's probably a lot of competitors within your niche, but there's a reason why people buy your product, and that reason creates a result. That result becomes the solution. So you might get people on the phone and say, I'm not interested about that. I'm not interested. Please call me back today. And it's because of the way you're wording your approach. And I want to tell you that even if you go through like, oh no, and people hang up, they call you rude things and are mean to you over the phone, or you just feel burnt out because you went through 100 no's and no one wants to talk to you. I promise you, my friend, if you can get good at cold calling, you will be a fucking beast when you come to sales, when you get into the sales atmosphere. And the reason for that is because cold calling was never, like, now today it's not even done by salesmen. Like, salesmen are just literally there to close. Very rarely do you have an actual salesman doing their cold call. If you are a salesman, you're doing your cold call, God bless you. You must be good at your fucking cold call, because otherwise, why the fuck would you do it? You should already rank up and move up to where you have CSRs or customer services or telemarketing doing your cold call. And so nonetheless, but let's say you're at the telemarketer level and you someday hope to be one of the salesmen who no longer has the cold call. You literally have to get good at it, and repetition is key. It's something that's very worthwhile, whether you decide to stay in sales or not. And the reason for that is because cold calling makes you quick on your toes. It literally makes you comfortable. It literally makes you comfortable in awkward conversations, awkward silence. You need to learn how to take rejection. You need to learn how to kind of trial and error it, right? Like, okay, well, that method didn't work, let me cross that out. That method didn't work, let me cross it out. And as you get better, you'll find what works, what doesn't. You'll also after so many times, know when certain objections happen, and so that way you can better revise your script or revise your wordplay so that you can address that objection before it happens. And so now it just becomes a little bit less friction in terms of the phone call, and now you're getting them to do things that fucking before you couldn't get no one to do. Now you're getting it like clockwork. It's a fucking smooth process. And that's what I mean, is that it may take 183 calls to get that momentum going, or it could take 183,000 calls just to get that momentum going. But if you're about that life, if you're about being an entrepreneur, if you're about controlling your income, if you're about making nothing out of something, you don't want to rely on your fucking degree, because that criminal justice degree just barely gives you 50K per year, and some dude with no degree is making over fucking 360K per year, and you're like, how the fuck did this happen? This guy has no fucking college debt. I got college debt, and the best job that I can get, if I can get it, is 50 to 60 grand. Man, I got 3 kids, dude. I'm trying to get a house. I got 2 cars. I got a mortgage. Right? And so if this sounds familiar and you're done with that, then what's great about it is you can get into sales. But then people say, oh, I'm not good at persuasion, or oh, I'm not good at cold calling, or oh, I'm not, whatever the fucking excuse that comes out of their mouth, they're telling you, or that person is just explaining why they are settling. They're settling for that 50 to 60K criminal justice job. If you got a criminal justice job, I'm not singling you out, man. Fucking big up to you. You went to school. You're a better person than me. You had the foresight to know that it takes discipline to complete something, and I just wasn't in the right mind frame. I wasn't in the right mindset at the time, so I don't have a college degree. But if you do have a college degree, fucking high five to you. I could share with you different ways on how to increase your income. It may not be on your college degree unless you're in like marketing, business, social science. These are things that you might like, but in terms of paying off that college degree, I could show you different methods on how to do it. So you can maybe do a side hustle, or you can create like an online brand store. So I'm here for you. But that's my message, is how do you get good? And what if you're new? If you're new, here's the 3 main things. Number 1 is understand that cold call is no longer cold call. It's just a fucking name. Don't get intimidated by it. There's a lot of different names that are kind of grandfathered into our industry, like smile and dial, motion creates emotion. There's just certain sayings, right? Power hours. And just because of the title, really what's referring to is the old school shit. And I wish I had an analogy right now, but I'm fucking sweating. I'm ready to get inside the house, and I'll get back to you on that analogy. But where my second tip comes in is that repetition is key, right? And so it seems hard now. It seems like, oh fuck, I can't do this right now, and it's because it's brand new. So imagine when you were learning how to walk, right? What made you keep going? You just fucking kept going, right? Like, even though you took a risk of falling and hurting yourself even as a baby, like, you didn't give a fuck. Like, you just kept trying and trying and trying, and then naturally you started walking better. Now you can fucking walk fast, and now you can run, right? Now you can jog, and now you can jump, and now you can do all these great things. And if you think about it, it all started from crawling. Like, you had to want it bad enough. And I'm not saying that it's going to take you 9 years to go fucking learn how to do the business. What I'm saying is, it's going to take that mindset. It's going to take the mindset of saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And if I fucking put my head down and I grind it out for 45 days, and I listen to Sales Remastered every single fucking day, on my way to work, on my way on my way to lunch. And if you're new and you're within your 45 days, I mean, in my opinion, I never took a lunch. I ate at my desk. I wasn't in the break room mingling. I wasn't there to make friends. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a cool person, but at the same time, I was there for one fucking goal, and my one goal was to fucking change the game, to dominate the game, to be the name at the top of that list. That's just me. And if that's something like you, then the third tip is really going to come in handy. And the third tip is that with technology that's available right now, there are certain things that you can do to understand who you're dealing with. Much like I shared with you, there are 3 types of learners, right? You got the kinesthetic, you got the visual, and then you got the auditory. And meaning that there's certain things that people say that actually tell you how to sell them. You just got to be able to learn how to pick up on those cues. Want to know how? click that subscribe button at the bottom right hand corner of this video. There's going to be a bell that pops up right after you click it. Click that bell, because on when you do that, there's a pop-up, there's a message. I go right into your homepage. You even get a notice saying, hey, Sales Remastered just uploaded this video, and it tells you the topic. And if you find that topic helpful, you could just open up the app and then hit save for later or watch it. And don't forget that, you know, this is more than just a one video process. You have to go in there, you have to make it a ritual. And if you really want to do this, I'll help you and I'll hold your hand and I'll fucking mentor you the entire way through. No problem, boo-boo, I got you. But just do me a favor. All I ask is that you like, comment, share. Like, comment, share. So hit that thumb button if you found value in this. Add a quick comment and say, yo, D, that was fucking magic. Like literally, yo, D, that was fucking magic. And then after that, hit the share. It's like that little arrow that's popping out. Hit share. It's going to give you option to copy link, and then go to your Facebook, go to your LinkedIn and say, yo, check this out. This guy's changing my life. I'm getting all of those messages in my DM saying, oh man, you've helped me. You've done more for me than my college degree has, or you've helped me in so many ways. Now I was able to expand my business. And this goes to my DM, and I don't want to be cocky or anything, but I need social proof. So I'll go into my story and I'll post it, but that bitch is gone in 24 hours. So I would appreciate if you guys can share it with your sales team, share it on your LinkedIn, your Facebook, whatever social media platform you're on. Just give your boy a shout out. If I showed you how to increase your income, improve your life, and improve your mindset for yourself, your family, your future, and your fucking well-being, all I'm asking for you to do is share. So I think I deserve that. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.